When you're dating a narcissist, the relationship begins with intense love bombing and future faking. It's on turbocharge. But after a few months of what seems like total bliss, you might find yourself being ghosted. One minute you're talking about marriage, and the next, they're out, often with no explanation. You're left feeling used, confused, abused, and without any sense of closure. Often, a narcissist will end things cold-heartedly and immediately block you everywhere, treating you like you never existed. I'm Lise Leblanc, and today I'm talking about 10 reasons a narcissist might ghost you after an intense short-term relationship that initially seemed perfect and so promising. Obviously, this abrupt shift from constant attention to sudden silence can be totally disorienting and distressing. To learn more about what this is like, please click on the link above. Okay, so here are some potential reasons for this sudden shift. And if you have other reasons, please feel free to add them in the comment section below. Please note that the reasons for being ghosted by a narcissist may be different from those of someone with borderline personality disorder. I will be posting a video on this topic shortly, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss it. If you find my content helpful, please consider supporting my channel through a super thanks or by joining my membership community. Okay, number one is that they found someone else. It is quite possible that you were never the narcissist's primary source of supply, and they were on the hunt, exploring other options all along. You were just an in the meantime partner. Probably one of many, to just tide them over until they found someone who could serve them better. As you may already know, narcissists are often juggling multiple sources of supply to make sure that they always have someone to cater to their needs and desires. And while you are led to believe that you are unique and supremely special, the reality is they were simply keeping you around as a temporary filler, all along seeking more exciting options. And once they found that new source of supply who offered more admiration, validation, and other benefits, they quickly moved on without any guilt or remorse. Number two is the inability to sustain the mask. In short-term relationships, narcissists start out by idealizing you, showering you with all kinds of wonderful compliments, gifts, sex, attention. All these love bombing tactics might make you feel amazing, especially if you've been craving connection. But there's no way to keep up this facade of perfection. As time goes on, the narcissist charade becomes increasingly difficult to maintain, and the mask begins to slip, revealing their true self and their manipulative tactics. This can sometimes lead them to abruptly end the relationship to avoid being exposed, or simply to avoid the trouble of trying to maintain their false image and keep up these pretenses. They can simply go out, find a new partner who will once again be dazzled by their initial charm. Number three is that fantasy doesn't match reality. It's really important to understand that when a narcissist is love bombing a potential partner that they view as top shelf premium source of supply, they already have a detailed fantasy of what their ideal partner should be and already have attached themselves to a perfect relationship that exists in their mind. So they immediately cast you into this role of the perfect partner and sell you the fantasy future. So the truth is, they are in love with an idealized image of you rather than you as a real person. They go full speed ahead, making you feel like it's a karmic connection, something truly magical, and they fully expect you to conform to this fantasy without any flaws or real emotional depth. But as reality signals start seeping into their fantasy land, their whole delusion starts to dissolve and they get increasingly dissatisfied, distant, and they devalue you as you fail to fall in line with what they've conjured up in their mind. As you consistently fail to meet their unrealistic expectations, they may abruptly end the relationship in favor of trying to make their fantasies come true with someone else. Number 4, it's simply their pattern. Some narcissists can manage to maintain long-term relationships, often for reasons related to status and control, but many narcissists just go from relationship to relationship endlessly in search of that idealized partner and fantasy relationship, which of course always fails to satisfy them. So if their history shows a pattern of short-term relationships, don't make the mistake of thinking that you will be the exception. Number 5 is their need for novelty. Narcissists love having someone who is falling under their spell and eating out of the palm of their hand. And during the love bombing stage, this is so exciting to them. But as the novelty wears off, they get bored and restless, and they are driven by a constant need for new stimulation and validation. So they discard you and begin seeking out fresh sources of excitement to reignite that initial thrill. Number 6 is that you're not playing your role right. Narcissists select partners who will reinforce their hero and or victim identity, depending on the type of narcissist. And if you challenge their carefully constructed image or fail to play the role that they've cast you in, it disrupts their whole sense of identity. They thrive on having their self-image supported and validated. So when you no longer play the role of a compliant admirer or enabler, they may ghost you in favor of someone who will more reliably play that role and reinforce their twisted self-perception and distorted view of reality. Number 7 is the lack of investment. Narcissists typically invest very little emotionally into their relationships. This lack of genuine investment is rooted in their self-centered nature and inability to form deep, empathetic, trusting connections with others. For a narcissist, relationships are often viewed through a transactional lens, primarily as a means to fulfill their own needs for admiration, validation, control, and personal gain. Because their emotional investment is shallow, they find it relatively easy to disengage from a partner without experiencing significant guilt or regret. So when challenges or conflicts arise, it's their way or the highway. And if you don't like it, you're put out with the trash, and they can quickly detach and move on, especially if they perceive that their needs are no longer being met and you're not playing your part. Number 8 is testing boundaries. Narcissists use short-term relationships to test how much control they can exert over a partner. If you challenge their sense of control and superiority by setting boundaries of your own, they might ghost you because they've realized that you will not be manipulated easily and it will be too much trouble to try to contain and control you. That said, narcissists are often attracted to people who seem confident and assertive at first. They see this as a chance to prove their dominance. They're especially interested in people who talk a big talk about boundaries because this often serves as a sign that the person struggles with enforcing their boundaries. People who have strong boundaries and trust themselves to enforce their boundaries usually don't make a big fuss about it. Instead, they just calmly set and maintain their limits. For narcissists, meeting someone who actually enforces their boundaries, it's like a red flag. So they'll test a few times, and if their tricks don't work right away, they will discard you again in favor of someone who is more submissive, someone who will not challenge their authority or expect to have equal rights in the relationship. Number 9, you become too needy. Narcissists are self-centered, they lack genuine empathy. So if you focus on your own needs or you start to face difficulties, maybe it's job loss, health issues, In this case, they might ghost you because addressing your needs and helping you out, supporting you, is just too burdensome for them. So they avoid engaging with any emotional complexities that don't serve their interests. Number 10 is fear of exposure and self-protection. Narcissists may want connection, but this would require deeper emotional intimacy, and their strong, entrenched defense mechanisms will not allow them to truly trust others or be open and authentic in their relationships. Sure, they might open up about some of their trauma, but it's a way to manipulate you to meet their need for sympathy and support. It's not about genuine self-disclosure, but it's about maintaining their victim narrative or their distorted narratives. So if you challenge their self-image, it is very likely that they will paint you the villain, ghost you to prevent exposure, and to protect their carefully crafted delusions. By disappearing without explanation, a narcissist can evade accountability and avoid confronting their own insecurities or the reality of their toxic behavior patterns. This tactic allows them to preserve their sense of self, their sense of superiority, while eliminating the source of their perceived rejection and any threats. They simply seek out a new partner who will validate their inflated self-image without ever having to look in the mirror. Thanks so much for watching, and to learn more about the reasons narcissists discard or ghost their partners after a long-term relationship, please click on the link above.